the all-time leading rusher of the National Football League, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and a friend, which I'm pleased to say, Emmitt Smith. Good to see you, Emmitt.
Rich, it's always good to see you, my friend.
Do you remember when you came on NFL Network Super Bowl coverage back in 2005 after the 04 season?
Right.
And I was interviewing you in Jacksonville.
Right.
And you had just announced your retirement.
Correct.
And you said, hey, I might want to do this talking thing for business. I'm available for all sorts of conversation, is what you said. You remember that?
Yes.
And then, lo and behold, we started working together on the NFL Network.
Yes, we did. And you know what? I enjoyed my time working with you guys over at the NFL Network. I miss a lot of you guys over there. So you guys have a great team right now, conveying the message of the NFL, talking about the league itself, the players, different things that goes on. You've always been a professional. I've always enjoyed having the conversation.
Right back at you. And we did Monday Night Football coverage. It was me, you, and now
Hall of Famer TD.
Hall of Famer Terrell Davis.
Yes. Great weekend at the Hall of Fame. Seeing TD get in along with LT, who was also part of the NFL Network. So, but TD and I used to enjoy our Monday night coverages.
That was fun.
Taking as we would call it, halftime lunch breaks.
I do recall the halftime lunch breaks sometimes went into the third quarter.
Yeah, on occasion. I mean, because we didn't have to come back to after the game was over anyway.
I know. But it was a total blast. And then speaking of LT and the Hall of Fame, he told a great story during his induction speech about meeting you at a football camp because he saw how his mom saved up money so he could go to that camp, and what meeting you and what it meant to him. What did it mean to you to hear that story on the other end?
It just goes to show that you never know how you might have an impact in another person's life. And so to have that kind of an experience with LT and the many kids that were at that camp, including the camps that I put on, you don't know until years later when they have an opportunity to either see you personally and thank you, or to get up on a podium like LT did at the Hall of Fame last weekend and thank you again. And so fortunately for me, he continued on to play football, and I saw him at the Doak Walker Award as well, and he reminded me of that. And then
when he was at TCU is when he first started telling that. So you have heard this story before.
Yes, I have heard this story before. And then watching him play in the National Football League, here's a kid that came in with the vision of making his mark on the game and doing everything in his power to do that. And he has taken the lessons and the life lessons that his mom has taught him, his dad, is also coaches and others, and applied it to become a Hall of Famer. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Emmitt Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. And then, obviously Jerry Jones going in to the Hall of Fame. Now, I could not help but notice, Emmitt, the number of verbal bouquets that Jerry threw in the direction of Jimmy Johnson as Jimmy sat on the stage as a presenter for Jason Taylor about, it felt like 3 days before, but it was still the same night because how long the night went. Do you think that there's a chance here that these two guys can mend whatever fences still need mending here?
I think those fences have been mended.
They have.
I think they have. I just think most people want to continue to harp on what the issue was then. I think the now is so much greater than it was then. I think they both have appreciated the abilities that they collectively have enjoyed in terms of working together, having success together, and also mutually. At the time, it may have been a rift publicly, but I think over time, Jimmy has always been there for Jerry whenever Jerry called him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because, the way people talk about it, and I've heard too, is that these guys still need to get one more maybe sit down, that you and Irv and Troy need to maybe broker a bunch of other guys where they sit down and everything gets ironed out.
Trust me, time heals all wounds, and being able to bless another person in a way that says, I really do appreciate you. I think that's the way Jerry does it. Jerry does it in his own subtle way. And I think Jimmy understands that. I think Jimmy is astute enough to know that, some things just need to be buried. I mean, you cannot take away the success that Jimmy was able to have with the Dallas Cowboys. You cannot have that success Jerry could not have that success without Jimmy Johnson being in place.
Do you think you could have been successful if there was no drama? Do you think that was necessary for you guys to win, Emmitt Smith?
I cannot say no because we had to deal with it, and we were still successful. And we also had our challenges. I mean, you cannot have great success without having great challenges. I think it's in the challenges where you've really developed the strength that you need to persevere through things that are unforeseen. And I think going through it all with, when I look at what we all went through, I think it made us better. I think it made us better as men. It forced us to grow up and become more accountable to ourselves and to each other and not lean on a coach as much. Take on that self-responsibility and become more leaders. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it did for us.
Now, when you say Emmitt Smith grow up, does that mean Irvin has grown up?
I can't speak for everybody.
But he's now on the other side of 50?
But, Michael is a unique character. And Michael has so much wisdom. He truly is a wise guy, one of the hardest workers I've ever been around, a vocal leader, a passionate person. And we all grow up in our own ways. And not to say that Michael has never grown up. Michael enjoys life. And that's the great balance. You work hard, you play hard. And so for Michael, I think having have left the game, he has grown in his own way. But Michael still has the personality unlike any other. And so that personality would never, ever go away. And I appreciate his personality. Michael would give me a call and say, man, if you haven't done this, you need to go do that. And so he is a caring person. I understand that. Most people only get a chance to see Irvin on the back of their name, on the back of that jersey. But I got a chance to know Irvin, the guy.
Well, I mean, when you talk about it, Emmitt, too, I'm with Emmitt Smith here in the Rich Eisen Show. I just told you off camera about my daughter's about to turn 4. Mm-hmm. So it's coming up on the 4-year anniversary of we had in my house a baby naming ceremony, okay? We couldn't get the rabbi to the house on a Saturday very well. It was not easy because we couldn't hold it on a Sunday because it was football Sunday. Right. So we went through the whole, concept of what the ceremony was going to be, and the rabbi that we found said, I have in my ceremony, I usually do this, there's a member of the family or whoever that gets to speak at the end. Mm-hmm. Now, my wife knew Michael before I met Michael because she worked with him at Fox Sports. Right. And I come home one day and I'm like, there's a speaker's element to this ceremony, and I know the one person to speak. And it was Michael Irvin.
Right.
And he gave an incredible speech about family and fatherhood and how certain aspects of that are missing in today's society. Right. Off the top of his head.
Right. It's not off the top of his head. It's out of his heart. Because you don't speak like that if you don't really believe what you're saying. And so for Michael to speak, as you would say, off the top of his head, I say it came out of his heart. That's how you truly feel about family.
And now your speech at the Hall of Fame, you memorized that too, right?
Yeah,
like Michael.
I worked on it for 6 months. So
that's right.
I wanted my speech to become part of who I am. I mean, it is my story. And so I don't think I needed notes to convey my story.
Well, I want to take a 60-second break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the big news of the day. All right. Ezekiel Elliott.
All right.
Cool. I got 22 in here. We'll talk about 21 when we come back. Pro Football Hall of Famer. No other human being on planet Earth has run for more yards
and experienced more
than Emmitt Smith. Back in 1 minute here on The Rich Eisen Show. All right, welcome back to The Rich Eisen Show. He is Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer, hanging out here in The Rich Eisen Show studio in person. Okay, what do you think of the news of the day, Emmitt, that Ezekiel Elliott is missing the first 6 games, barring anything on appeal?
Wow. All I can say is, wow. It's been so much news before 12 o'clock. It's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
Unfortunately for the Cowboys, we will be losing a great football player. And unfortunately for Zeke, this is going to be the topic for the next 6 to 8, maybe 2 months in terms of not being able to be on the football field to help his team. And hopefully this is a learning experience for him because you have to look at it from the standpoint of I am an impactful player, and now I cannot have an impact because I am on the sideline. and being on the sideline is tough. You're not injured. You physically can go out there and help, but there's nothing you can do. I equated to missing the first 2 games of the year back in 92, 93.
You do know that you are the last person to lead the league in rushing and miss the first 2 games of the following year because of your holdout. And Zeke is now the next one to do that.
Yeah. And so, but it's 6 games.
Yeah.
I had 2.
That's right.
So I still had a chance to fight to come back. 6 games is almost a half a season. And so it's tough. I think there's a number of ways he can look at this. He can look at this as punishment, or he can look at this as an opportunity for him to understand to whom much is given, much is required. And the impact that he's had on his team and his organization has been tremendous. And he can still have the same impact, but he has to learn that there are rules within not only the game, but also society. And I think this is the time to reflect and ask fundamental questions of oneself. Do I want a real long career in this National Football League, which I can have? Or do I just want to play it year by year and just live for the now? Because this is about his future, and that's what I'm really concerned about is his future. Because this is a tremendous opportunity for a lot of athletes to be able to do something that you absolutely love and get compensated for it, and be able to have an impact in another person's life. That's what this NFL is all about. This is temporary. We have a shelf life in this sport, and unlike you, have a career. Mm-hmm. This is a shelf life, and so this doesn't last long. And so we have to take advantage of every moment. And missing 6 games right now is not affording you the opportunity to take advantage of every moment.
Well, in terms of the 6 weeks, he's not allowed to be around the team at all.
I understand.
And he's going to be at the crib, if you will, and idle time for him so far has not been productive is one very light way to put it.
That's why I say it's a time of reflection. It's a time to self-analyze. And I'm talking because of wisdom. I'm talking because even when I missed those first 2 games, I had to do self-analyzation in terms of, am I doing the right thing? I'm missing my teammates. They need me on that field when getting beat by the Washington Redskins and then getting beat by. I want to be on that football field. I can't stand watching them go into battle without all of the tools that they absolutely need. I couldn't stand it. And so for Zeke, it's going to be tormenting to watch someone else taking the reps that he should be getting. It's going to be tormenting. And so I want to be a sounding board for him, just like many other folks probably want to be a sounding board for him, want to help, because I want to see him become very, very successful.
But let me cut straight to the heart of the matter as well, because there's been a lot written about it and discussed it. Has he ever sought you out in that regard, Emmitt?
Not necessarily sought me out, but I tell you what, I think we're getting closer. I think we are getting closer. I think you have to develop a trust with a person, and he has to develop a trust with me, and he has to feel like he has a safe place.
Well, why wouldn't he trust you? I mean,
he doesn't really know me.
But I mean, Dez didn't really know Michael Irvin very much, and the two of them bonded right off the bat. He let Dez take the 88.
Right, but I mean, people have to get to that place on their own. I can't force him to a place. He has to get to that place on his own, and he's young, and he's growing, and he has to grow into that role. But I think at some point he would get there, and I think steps have been taken, and I appreciate the steps that have been taken. You cannot force something. You got to allow it to actually develop on its own, and as it develops naturally, and that trust is built, then I think things will go from there.
Emmitt Smith.
Hopefully
here.
It's sooner than later.
Well, I mean, yeah, and just I guess to put a button on it, Emmitt. So I mean, we've heard what you think he should do. Let's say you're walking off the set here, mm-hmm. and your phone rings, mm-hmm. and it is Ezekiel Elliott. What would you, Emmitt Smith, say to him?
The first thing I want to know is, how are you feeling? What's going on in your head right now? What are you thinking? I want to understand where he's at, and then I would probably want to have a conversation in terms, okay, once we get past certain levels, what do we do from here? Let's devise a game plan for the next 6 to 7, maybe 8 weeks to develop a veteran to peer relationship. How do we develop these accountabilities? How can we become accountability partners? And not only that, but let's get you in the room with some other athletes that have been down this path and had to deal with certain things, so you can understand where they all are coming from. So it's not just me, because there are plenty of examples. I mean, you got Irv, you got myself, you got guys that would be willing to reach out to help and support him in any which way we can, because we want to see people become very successful beyond the game.
And teach them to respect women.
Most definitely.
I mean,
it's all of these kind of conversations, but these are conversations that you would have behind closed doors.
If he needs that sort of, it does, and just based on this letter, it seems that,
all of
that's a conversation that needs to be had.
In my opinion, nothing is off the table.
Okay.
Nothing is off the table.
So how do you think this affects the team this year? 2017.
Tremendously. Chemistry is built during these times. That's what training camps are really there to forge, the right chemistry to go into the season, which is absolutely critical. Trust is all built right now. And so understanding that it's happening now, the team can shift its focus. Just like Tony Romo got hurt last year in the preseason, the team was able to shift its focus to Dak Prescott.
No doubt.
And the same thing happens now. They're shifting this focus, knowing that Zeke is not going to be available for 6 games and the rest of preseason. And so you shift your focus over to Alfred Morris and McFadden and Hillman, and you start to develop your game plan around what you currently have.
Our poll question, Brockman, read it out to Emmitt Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show before we get to AT&T Experience More. Go for it, Chris.
All right, Emmitt, how many wins do the Cowboys have after 6 games? So we have 4 options. 0-2, it's option 1. 3, 4, or 5 or 6.
So they're home for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? I could take it one by one.
I would be happy with a
500?
Yeah, 500.
Well, they're home for the Giants. They're at the Broncos, at the Cardinals. Home for the Rams, who now have Sammy Watkins. What a trade. Home for the Packers. Bye week at the 49ers. I said 3-3, maybe even 4-2. And they've got to run, Emmitt, they've got to run it.
Yeah.
They can't say, okay, our guy's out. Let's lean on Dak and wing it around the lot.
I agree with that. 100%. You stay true to who you are.
Right.
And you are a well-balanced offensive unit. You can run the rock with these 3 guys that I just mentioned. You can still throw the rock with what you have out there wide with Terrence and Dez and Beasley along with Jason Witten. You got enough weapons offensively. So stay true to form. Do not try to get outside of your comfort zone. Stay there. Do not put more pressure on Dak than needs to be there.
So 3-3 is something.
I think 3-3 is possible.
So let's talk about the eyewear that you're wearing and have been wearing this entire conversation. And the technology is called IRA, and you're going to help one lucky AT&T consumer who is blind or has low vision visualize an actual Dallas Cowboys game?
Yeah. They're
Through these glasses?
They're going to join me at a Cowboy game on October the 1st, I believe. And
that's against the Rams.
Yeah, it's against the Rams. And I'm going to sit up in the box, and we're going to talk about what I'm seeing, and I'm going to relay the game to them so they can get this visual effect of what's actually transpiring on the football field. These glasses are pretty awesome. I'm enjoying the technology. This is a way to communicate to the visually impaired and help them understand what's going on around them. I can describe what's in the room, and they get this visual context of what's happening.
That's incredible.
Technology is amazing how it's bridging so many gaps between what you once could do versus what you can absolutely do now. Is bringing all kinds of things back to focus.
So if you or a friend or family member has low vision or blind and want to be able to experience more and share this whole experience with Emmitt Smith, certainly go to experiencemore.att.com or use the hashtag #ExperienceMore.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Experience more.
I love it. And good for you.
This has been
for
a
doing
great
this.
experience, Rich.
Has it really been?
Yeah,
Would
I've
you
enjoyed
agree?
my time with you.
What do you think of the studio here?
I love it. This is a studio built for a king, and you are a king.
I'll take that. Before I let you go, Leonard Fournette says that the game's slower than he thought it would be.
Maybe he's just fast.
Well, he said he said it was playing in the SEC that's aiding him in getting more equipped to the speed of the game.
Well,
what do you think of that?
I think Leonard Fournette knows his offense a lot quicker than most people give him credit for, because that's the only way the game slows down.
How do you think he's going to do this year?
We'll see. I think he has a tremendous opportunity. He's a big guy, may need a little bit more space than Christian McCaffrey. But, I mean, like Gurley hit the scenes running.
From the SEC.
Yeah, from the SEC.
So how was your transition from the SEC to the NFL?
Well, you saw my rookie.
You do know, in the Jerry Dome, my alma mater takes on yours to start the college football season.
Yeah. I will be there.
You will be there.
In the Jerry Dome.
I will not.
I will be there flipping the coin.
It's my daughter's fourth
out.
birthday party. She has no idea that she'll be spending it somewhat with Jim Harbaugh
You
on
want
a
to
big
have a
television.
small wager on it?
Yes, sir.
Small wager.
What do you want to do?
We got?
What do you want to do?
Just a small wager.
Well, normally what we do is one of us, the loser, has to wear the
No,
gear,
I'm
the
not
gear.
wearing nothing.
Avatar.
I'm not wearing that.
Twitter avatar.
Twitter avatar?
You change your Twitter avatar
To what?
To a
Block
a,
M?
no, block M.
No. It's too much visibility.
That's
What do you mean?
That's
Too
the
much
point,
vision.
Emmitt.
We're talking about vision here. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, we are talking about vision, but I'm gonna dim yours down a little bit. No, I'm talking I said friendly.
That is friendly.
It got to be all in everybody's face. That's friendly.
Wow. Sounds like someone's scared.
I'm like sending you.
Yeah, come on.
Like
What do you think?
a coupon to go to Houston's for lunch or something like that. I'm trying to be
Sort of what you and TD would do every Monday night.
Yeah, I'm giving you a piece of me in a nice little way, and vice versa.
So what piece of me would you want?
No pieces.
It's not apples to apples here.
That's true. That's true. You are a sour grape.
We'll have to figure something out. That's why I'm saying a Twitter avatar for one day. One day I've got to put a
gator.
No offense. I've got a following. I've got to put a gator on my.
You have a following.
Okay, I've got to put a gator at Rich Eisen for a full day.
And I got to put a
block M for one full day.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know if my spirit can take that.
Let's do it.
That would hurt my soul.
Or this Michigan helmet on my desk. You've got to hold it or something. Take a picture of it with it. I think it's just a.
I tell you what.
Yes.
I take a picture with it right now.
Yes.
So
I get to use that.
You get to use that
on my Twitter avatar.
Your Twitter avatar.
But what happens if Florida wins?
You get to use my gator.
We have a deal.
And I've got to put a Florida helmet on this desk for a day.
That's fine.
Win.
See, that's how you negotiate. I got two things.
Deal.
I got a gator on the desk, and I got an avatar.
Oh, well, could do that too.
You only got one.
Okay. Did I just get hosed?
No, you're good. No, Rich,
It'll be good.
You're good.
It'll be great.
You're
Emmitt
good.
Smith, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Emmitt's going to say cheese. Because that's what I'm going to use on September the 3rd, Labor Day Sunday after
I
a
will
big
be at
win.
the game.
Okay.
Even if I have to dress.
Emmitt, thrilled that you were here. Thrilled that you were here.
Thank you, my friend.
Please come back anytime you are in Los Angeles. And again, experiencemore.att.com or use the hashtag experiencemore to learn more. Enter right now for a chance to go to the Rams-Cowboys game with Emmitt Smith and through the IRA technology.
Yes.
If you are of low vision or blind, he will help you visualize the game thanks to the folks at AT&T. You're the man.
Thank you, bro.
Emmitt Smith here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that video, be sure to download our app, and I'll be sure to move Week 6 games to Saturday for that wedding you have to go to.